I think that's honestly one of the things that A, saved our relationship and B, allowed it to flourish.
Was your worry in asking that question? Well, I guess the worry was that I don't appreciate the things you do, right? And like take you for granted.
You know what's more challenging than learning Spirit Island?
Dealing with my moods.
Yes, I'm glad you're aware.
Welcome back.
Welcome back,
everyone.
Today we decided to do something a bit different. Something we haven't done in a while, but we're going to do a relationship check-in.
Yes. And for those who don't know what it is,
we check in on each other to check how the relationship's going. So what is a relationship check-in? I define it as taking time out, intentional time out, to sit down with each other, usually free of distractions, so like not even over dinner or whilst you're doing something else. You just really want to be there with each other. And then you really just take half an hour, depending how long you feel, and talk with each other about the status of your relationship, any issues that you might be having, but not just issues, but also like moments where you might have felt grateful, appreciative of the other person. Because often the relationship goes by, you're just living with each other. There can be things that happen that because of the hustle and the bustle of daily life, you just overlook. Both good and bad, and it's just to take a moment to talk about these things, and really try to reflect, and just it gives you, and for us, I feel like it brings us closer. That's what it is for me.
So the point of these talks is to get everything out in the air and make sure that everyone, both of you, are aware of how each other is feeling and how you can further develop this relationship in a positive way. So if you ever have issues with your relationship, make sure you try to at least have a dedicated time, weekly, bi-weekly, fortnightly, to sit and just talk with your partner. No distractions, just talk about the relationship.
Yeah, and for me, it's not even if you have issues. We started at the very start of our relationship. I think we were having a fair few, I wouldn't say there were disagreements, but you could just tell we weren't on the same page.
Yes.
We're more consciously aware of how much your mood fluctuates. Just like, this potato has no energy. We just literally went out for an hour. We're back now, and he's like crashed. Not sure what's going on. So for us at the start, we're like, okay, let's set dedicated 1 hour aside each week and just talk about our relationships. What's good, what's bad. And I think that's honestly one of the things that A, saved our relationship and B, allowed it to flourish, because it really allowed us to understand each other's thoughts, how we're feeling about the relationship, and not just assume what was going on with the other person. We don't have like a magical way to do this. Usually what I like to do is go onto Google, or you can use like ChatGPT, and just ask for like a few relationship check-in questions. They're good prompts, and then you just talk to them. And why I like to do that versus just start talking about issues or like good moments that I've had is I feel like it allows me to touch on things I would otherwise not really consider.
I think the benefit of this relationship talk is it teaches you how to set out time and talk about your issues. For us, we just do it like all the time now, or we do it at a different time rather than, on the Wednesday at night that we used to do it.
Yeah.
Because I think for the past like month, every time this Wednesday has come up, we already did a talk like 2 days ago. So it's like, okay, there's no point on this one because we literally did the talk impromptu 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason why we've been doing it less.
Yes. The one thing I really like about dedicated time though, usually when something happens that you want to discuss, often it can feel like an inconvenient time, like you're about to go to bed, you need a shower, and it's like, it doesn't feel like you have the time to talk about it properly. And it almost feels like, why are you trying to bother me now whilst I'm going to do something, right? Whereas if you have a dedicated time, it's almost like, okay, this 9 p.m. on a Wednesday, we're doing nothing else, but it's just us two, right? We get to talk, and then afterwards, I don't know, we can, if we finish early, we can spend it watching like an episode of something, or just even have like a cuddle. Yeah, that's why I really like it. It's like dedicated. It's almost like a date night, but think about it from the perspective of trying to strengthen your relationship. So first one, what do you love most about our relationship?
How about you start by answering the questions, because I'm not great at thinking on my feet.
Great. I can answer this question. I think what I love most about our relationship is that we're both here willing to try and make it work. Like, we might have disagreements. Sometimes we might get upset at each other, but at the end of the day, we both still want to be here to make the relationship work. And I think it's the most important thing for me, and it's the strongest pillar of our relationship, and that's why I see our relationship as very healthy.
Yeah.
Because we're both on the same page about how much we want to make our relationship work, even though we might be on different pages about other things.
I think the biggest example, I agree, recently is that you decided to help take up like learning a board game, of which you have ADHD and you hate learning rules of board games. It's like hell to you.
Yes.
And you were willing, and I could see that you were willing, and you can see that I'm very appreciative that you learned how to play a pretty complex board game and spend time with me. This comes as part of actually our the recent argument we had,
Yes.
which was mostly, I believe, arising from the fact that we were not doing too many things together,
Correct.
which meant it felt like we were just living in the same space and not actually in a relationship.
Yes.
Because we didn't have any shared hobbies.
Yes.
And by you actually taking time to learn the rules of the board game, or a board game which I love, Spirit Island.
It goes both ways, right? I think you can see that I'm putting effort in, and then later I'm like, I want to go to the market with you. And then you're like, okay, I'll go with you. Yeah. Because like, I enjoy spending time with you if we go out for a walk. Like, we're taking the dogs for a walk. And then, yeah, I'm just like, we need to buy bottles of wine for friends. I can go by myself, but one, it feels kind of lonely. And then two, I really struggle with making decisions. So like, if you're there with me and like you help me taste the wine or something, then it means a lot to me. And I feel like that's us spending quality time together. Yeah. And then we can come back and we can play some of your Spirit Island.
Yay.
Yeah. Hey guys, if you're enjoying our content, the best way you can support us is by subscribing.
This helps us make better videos for all of you.
Okay, now you just kind of stole my answer. You have to think of your own. What do you love most about our relationship? What's something else you love about our relationship? This is very normal, guys. Sometimes he just sits here and stares at me thinking. Can be work related. Can be your mood related. I've got so many I can think of.
Give me an idea.
Like how you appreciate that I've learnt Spirit Island. So do you appreciate anything else that I do? It's exactly the same vein as me learning Spirit Island.
I think it's more expectation, maybe. As in, because we're in a relationship, there are expectations placed on both of us. One, you can't just be lazy, and I can't just be lazy and do literally nothing. There's expectations.
Sure.
Right? Like, for instance, you went to the gym and I stayed because you're like, you're tired. So that means you're going to go shopping. But that also means that I bathed Chai. I cleared the dishwasher. I folded the clothes.
Yes.
Because that's an expectation. And I'm not going to go to you and be like, you have to be appreciative. Because I'm like, this is my duty as a boyfriend. I want to like help with the household stuff, not just be like, you have to thank me. Right?
No,
That's
yes.
the difference.
I don't think I'm asking for thanks, but it's still, appreciation doesn't necessarily mean you need to thank someone. I don't say thank you to you or like, oh, you're the best, right? But it's like acknowledgement that in my head that you did it. I think you need to realize that it's not only through your words, but through how you respond, your mood and everything. Like sometimes your mood is like, if I ask you to do something, it's like quite a dark response from your mood. Does that make sense? Which is an indication that I do not want to do this. Why are you asking me to do it? Which in a sense for me is expectation. You're not being like, sure, let me help with it. Like you ask, let me help with it. Like, which is why I become hesitant to ask you things, right? Like I'm conscious of the things that you do. And in my head, I know that I don't take them for granted. For example, setting all the tripod up, the microphones up, the ring light up, so that we can film. I don't tell you, oh, thank you, you're amazing, you're the best. But I'm not, the opposite is.
For me, I think it's actually expectation. Because it's like, I do X amount of stuff. That means you have to do a Y amount of stuff. Or if you do, X amount, that means I have to do at least Y amount. So for me, it's like there's a lot of minimum expectations that I need to fulfill and do as a boyfriend.
Yes.
So that you see as appreciative. I think for me, it's an expectation that if the other person does not have energy, and one person does, that person who has energy steps up. For me, that's an expectation. That's like a
Yes.
requirement from a
The
relationship.
issue for me is it's usually me who has the energy. So I think there's often a lot of times where I'm like, okay, don't worry, you sit there, I'll do it. So I'm trying to like figure out, do you recognize that it's often me who has to step up?
Yes, because we're different people.
Yes.
Any relationship will not have 50-50
Correct. But do you appreciate that? Or you just expect it? I think you appreciate it, which is why
it's both. It's expected because we've talked about it before, and it's not like you're surprised by it at this point, right?
No, but
so
I
to
guess
me,
there's
that's
2 points here.
expectation, because expectation means you can foresee the future.
Yes.
And by foreseeing the future means that you know what's going to happen. But I am appreciative in that I have told you that it's not easy. Like I've told you many times, and I'm like, I know it's not easy dealing with my mood swings,
Yes.
right? So I've told you that.
Yes. That's why I'm like, I think you do appreciate it, because that's why this morning you still like, oh, let me bathe Chai so you can go to the gym.
Yeah.
By virtue of your actions, I think you appreciate what I do for you.
Yeah, because that's how I define. Maybe that's just, for me, that's, expected, and also how I show appreciation, I guess.
Yeah. I think what I recognize is having had to be the one who consistently steps up over like the past year, few months, whatever it is quite tiring for me, because I feel like I'm always trying to manage your energy levels. So recently I think when we had the chat, we realized that you're non-verbal, non-communicative when you really have no energy. I think giving you options and directing you is my way of trying to manage my limited energy while still managing you. So it's no longer, for me, it's been a bit of a shift away from, okay, you sit there and I'll do it, to you need to help me do this, and telling you what you need to do.
Was your worry in asking that question, well, I guess the worry was that I don't appreciate the things you do, right? And like take you for granted.
Yes, and I guess for me, I just want to try and remind you that I don't want to feel like you expect me to do those things and not actually appreciate it.
I think it's different, because I think, where the confusion comes in is that whenever you do something for me, I don't actively think, oh, I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
It's either like an extremely like brief passing in the mind.
Yeah.
I don't just sit there for like a minute and being like, oh, I'm so thankful he
which makes
got me
sense.
Eclipse or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't sit there for like a minute thinking about it.
Yeah.
Which is very different for Spirit Island. Spirit Island is like, even now I'm still appreciative.
Yeah.
Because it was, for me, that's a big thing that I can really see, that it was like, it took a shit ton of effort from you.
Yes. You know what's more challenging than learning Spirit Island?
Dealing with my moods.
Yes, I'm glad you're aware. I'm glad you're very aware.
Yeah, that's why I hug you every few days, being like, thank you for,
No, since when was the last time you hugged me and said that?
Yesterday?
No. If you came up and told me thank you for dealing with my moods every few days, that'd be great.
I'm pretty sure you were over there doing something, and I came up and hugged you from behind, and I was like, oh, thank you or something.
For learning Spirit Island, not for dealing with your moods.
Potentially. My question for you is, what do you think the next stage of our relationship is? Where do we go from here?
I don't know. I was thinking about like our idea of wanting to move to Asia, and I'm just like, it's hard because I don't know where we're trying to go. Does that make sense? So I don't even know what the next stage of our relationship looks like, as well as the relationship for us is kind of tied to like we want to do business together as well, right? So from that perspective, I think we just want to continue trying to grow our online presence, and that's the main focus, which in a way it's hard because like we don't have a clear goal of where we want to go, so it's not like we're hustling towards that. In a way, we're just trying to find something that we actually enjoy doing, and that's the difficult part.
Yeah, like some people's next stage might be like marriage, or it might be like you said, buying a place. So I think our next stage, as you said, next year we'll start. Hopefully, if this social media thing does pick up, we can move to Vietnam and try pursue new opportunities in that field, which might mean we buy a place or rent a place, but it means we'll uproot our lives here,
Yeah,
basically, which is a big step.
it's a potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree in that.
I don't think marriage is anytime soon for us. I
Mm,
don't think.
nor a kid.
No. I think I don't feel the need to. I know I tease you about it. I just like to tease you about it.
Yes, you do. And then everyone on the internet is upset at me for
Not
rejecting you every time.
yes. But I feel
I still love him, guys.
I don't think that getting married will make me feel any more secure. Maybe a little bit, but not really. I don't think it really changes the
The fundamental basis of our relationship. It won't
yes,
change
correct.
anything.
Yeah, correct. Because I already feel very secure with you and like very safe, and that I feel like we're headed in the same direction together.
Hmm.
So marriage, not really. A kid, definitely not.
We would love a
really.
kid, but probably in like 10 years, guys. What do you name our kid?
Simba.
No, that's a dog's name. That's a dog. You said
Sebastian.
we were gonna...
If it
Sebastian.
if it has an eggplant, I'll call it Sebastian.
I was gonna say Barry.
No, no,
Barry.
absolutely not.
Barry or
if
Simba? I'm gonna put in a poll. Everyone can vote.
If it has a falafel, what will I call it?
Barrier. Berry?
I might
Berry.
maybe I have to find gender neutral names. Yeah, so probably I'm still trying to decide whether we like what is the value of us moving if we decide to move to Vietnam.
Ideally, it would mean I quit my day job and
Hmm.
pursue this more long term. It means we have bigger access to people in Asia.
I guess so. People are closer to do things.
Yep. If we do want to do other businesses that isn't social media, any like physical or retail, like anything merch, that's all
Yeah.
Vietnam. That's all Vietnam.
Yeah. Okay, what's working in our relationship right now? What do you feel is working in our relationship?
I feel like the communication is there. We both talk about our needs, wants, what we expect of the relationship, desires. So I think the communication is 100% there, which is, I think, why we both always say that if this relationship doesn't work out, like I wouldn't go into another relationship because I feel like this relationship is the communication is as good as I will ever get.
Yes.
I can't imagine any relationship having better communication than we do right now.
Yeah.
Clear. Yeah.
I mean, flip your mic, it's the wrong way.
Oh. I want this way.
No, that's ugly. Behave.
That's rude. You can't call me that.
No, the microphone's ugly in the back.
I was born this way.
Okay, can you focus?
Can you focus?
I am trying to focus. What
do you feel like is working or not working? What
do I feel like is not working?
Not working. Yes.
When we are not happy with something, I think we're still trying to figure out how to raise it in the most gentle way, so that it can be discussed. So maybe we do need to go back to having more regular catch up, so it can be raised. But then sometimes it feels like I have to hold on to. I don't like the idea of having to hold on to something that I want to discuss for an extended period of time before I raise it. Yeah. So I think getting better at raising issues in the moment without it making you feel like you're being attacked, or like me understanding your response, which is what I think part of our issue was the other day, because I didn't like you were saying something which had, I think, a very literal, straightforward intent, but the issue is when you're defensive, that's exactly the same way that you speak. So I have no way of differentiating.
And I agree. I'm like fully aware. So the issue was that we have very different communication styles, and my communication style actually differs depending on like how much the mood and the energy that I have. So normally when I'm tired, I have a very deadpan expression, but also when it's upset, I have a deadpan expression. And the as far as I know, the delivery of both is similar, and usually they're interconnected. But that the 2 nights ago when you raise an issue with me. I was only tired. I wasn't upset, tired,
Yes.
which was confusing to you because you had no idea. I'm like, why is he upset? And for me, I'm just like trying to understand what's happening. And then he's like, we're just getting more heated. And I'm just like, I don't understand what's happening.
Yes, because you were
Tired.
you sounded defensive.
It was like 10:30 and you were like, let's have this big in-depth conversation. I'm like 10 minutes from sleeping, but okay, I'll drag myself together to try and talk.
Yeah, because I was like, I need to let him know, otherwise I'm just going to be grumpy at him for no reason.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we should celebrate?
Another year of being together. We didn't celebrate our 2nd anniversary.
That's true.
Well, we're celebrating it by
Actually, we just
our
go to
overseas
our
trips.
overseas
so
trip is how we
maybe that's how we
celebrate.
celebrate. Actually, yeah, that's actually how
Yeah.
we celebrate.
And then I feel like there's been a lot of little milestones that we've hit. So we hit like 75K on Insta, 50K on TikTok, which is like all very slow growth, but I think it's still something to acknowledge that we made it there. And then we're like doing the best we ever have on YouTube. So in some ways it's like, oh, we're somewhat heading in the right direction. Do you feel supported? How do you feel supported? Do you feel that I've been supporting you? Is there anything I can do to support you better?
No, I think you're doing as much as I expect.
Yeah.
Because I don't expect anything. So literally anything you do is like good enough for me. But so I don't expect.
No,
I
you
don't
definitely
expect
do.
anything from you.
No, if I just sat here and did nothing, you wouldn't be happy.
Oh yeah, we would break up. But I don't ask you of it.
You don't ask me to do anything.
Yeah. So does that mean I don't expect you to do anything?
Verbally, but you ask through your mood.
Touche. What was the question again?
Do you feel supported? Is anywhere I can
Yeah,
support
I
you
always
better?
feel supported by you.
That's good.
Like you learn Spirit Island so we can play together.
That's the only thing he remembers.
Yeah, I'm very short-minded.
Short-term memory loss.
I have short-term memory loss.
So back to the topic of your mood, I do feel like how I've been dealing with your mood more recently, which I realize is I think the way I have to go forward is no longer trying to be like, okay, we can not do this or you just chill. You just like suck it up. I'll obviously say it to you nicely, but like, okay, we need to do this. You just need to like push through it and get it done.
It's like there's only like a 10% in all of those circumstances. There's probably only like 20% of the time where it's like, even if I had tried to pull myself together, I can't. The other 80% is like if I just have time or I can feel it somewhere within me that I can just pull it together and just get it done.
Yeah.
So most of the time I feel like I can do it. I just need to like time to gather myself together.
Yeah, which I recognize is not easy for you, but I also feel like you can do it. And if like that's the approach I take, we actually get more done and there's more progress, which longer term and overall bigger picture, you're probably more happy with.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
It's like gratitude that you're, doing all of the meetings with our editor. You take, a lot of the responsibilities with all the like posting of the stuff. And I feel, like you said, my only job or my minimum requirement is to just get my shit together and film. Right? And I'm like, okay. So I feel gratitude that, yes, I understand that the work you're doing is like a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And, I tried doing that work and I just couldn't. Like I literally couldn't. I tried taking on those roles, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm grateful for the things that you do. So maybe that's, I'm not, but it's also like expectation because like we both need to get the work done. This is where it's confusing.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Okay.
Because like I'm grateful that you do it, but I'm also, it's an expectation that because someone needs to do it. And if I literally can't do it and I do a bad job at it, that means you have to do it. So to me, that's expectation, but I'm also grateful. So
yes.
That's why I was confused with the question earlier. This is the autism talking, guys. I'm too literal. And it confuses Tekky and makes him think I don't love him.
Very confusing.
But I still love you.
I love you too. Anything you want me to do more of or less of in our relationship?
I like it when we do shared hobbies. Like okay, guys, it's not that I don't want to play his hobbies, but he just wants to play video games. And video games I'm very bad for my health. It's not that I don't want to play video games. It's just that when we actually play them, it's just not enjoyable for both of us because my mood goes tanks.
Yeah.
and that's not enjoyable for everyone involved. That's why
That's so true.
we don't have shared hobbies, guys. It's not that.
You don't have many hobbies, I think. It's like reading manga and
Watching YouTube videos.
you're watching YouTube videos. That's why sometimes I'm just like, okay, we need to find a few more things to do together. That's why I'm like, okay, if we want to go out together, that means a lot. And you're supposed to ask me the question. Is there anything you'd like me to do more of?
Is there anything that you'd like me to do more of or do less of in the relationship?
Guys, this is so fake. He doesn't talk like this.
Why you just call me fake in front of everyone?
Is there anything you'd like me to do more of or less of in this relationship?
That's so
Usually he's just like, okay, what? What about me? What about you? I feel like if I'm doing chores and you just come and help even for like a little bit, it means a lot, and it actually like saves me so much time. Like when I'm cooking, if you're like, okay, what do you need me to do? Because like my ADHD already means it takes me twice as long to get things done because I'm just not. Things don't happen in a linear, progressive order. Does that make sense? So from that perspective, I waste a lot of time and I consume a lot of energy. So if you come help me and I'm like, okay, do this, because I think I'm good at knowing what I need to do, but the issue is I start doing one thing and I'll jump to the next thing. Whereas if you do the next thing for me, I'm like, okay, I can finish that. The next thing has already been worked on, and it just helps me.
Stop being a really bitch.
No.
That's something you would say.
You're just a robot sitting in front of your computer watching YouTube videos.
I do help. It's not like I don't help with the chores.
You do.
And then it's also sometimes like if we're filming, then I'm like, okay, I need to balance up. Do I help you or do I just try to reserve enough energy to actually film properly?
One of the things I'm just like, there's so much shit to do today, and this guy is just like conserving energy just to film. I'm like, that becomes really tiring because I have to do everything the whole day. Does that make sense?
So I'm like, let's film early.
Yeah, I think like on days, that's why sometimes on days where we film, I'm like, is it even worth filming? Because it just feels like the whole day I end up being super drained. Finally, like we just both end up being super drained because you have to draw so much energy to film. This is the same question that keeps coming to me, right? It's like, do you want to keep doing this? Because it takes like so much energy from you and then resultantly me. So I'm like, I'm drained because of the whole process. Do you appreciate that?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, do you recognize that? Do you recognize that that's what happens?
Yes.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss? Are you being nonverbal? You have to say no.
No.
Okay, good. You use your words. Good boy.
No, Ron. Is it no, Ron? No. Or is it? Is it? What is it?
No, Harry, no. No, what is it? I don't know. I don't remember.
I feel like the minimum requirements are there. So there's like no expectation. Like everything is like a cherry on top, to be honest. Like I don't expect you to learn Spirit Island. That's very much a cherry on top for me.
For me, that's like, it's actually quite important that I tried to learn Spirit Island because it means that our relationship is actually enjoyable, right? Like when you're happy, that brings me joy rather than just being there next to each other.
I'm proud you learn it. You're very good.
Like, I think it's like the lack of actual, like, I don't mind the strategy element of playing the games. It's like the fact that I have to learn something I'm not that interested in, and there's so many words and so much complexity to it. And that's going to take me like an exceptionally long time to get my head around to get dopamine from when there's like other sources of dopamine already.
Yes, easily accessible sources of dopamine.
Yeah.
That's actually very similar to like why people break up in relationships, right? The amount of effort that you have to put in to make a relationship work feels very disproportionate to, oh, what if I just jump to a new relationship
and go through the honeymoon phase?
And then go through the honeymoon.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think that's what you said you used to do, like dopamine hop between relationships with the honeymoon phase. Is that what you said previously?
Not really the honeymoon phase. I think I tried to make all my relationships work.
Yeah,
I never really
agree.
dopamine hop.
Yeah, I agree.
I really tried to make them work.
But I can imagine some people doing that. They
Yes.
just hop through the dopamine.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think. If anything that we said sparked any thoughts, feel free to let us know in the comments.
These Yeah, this is like what we normally chat about. This one felt like there were less interesting questions because all that Peter appreciated was Spirit Island, me learning a board game. But I guess it was very significant to him, which is
I think
why.
it was good that we had the talk as well, because especially the gratitude versus expectation talk,
Yes.
it showed us how we're a little different in how we approach these concepts in the relationship.
Yes. Yes. I think we end up arriving at roughly similar points. It's just like different terminology and different words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just shows that our personalities are different. And then literally it showed you guys how we talk through an issue when we're both coming from two different angles and how we like compromise or end up at the same place. Subscribe if you want to catch us next time, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.